Hello, class. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about the differences between Graves' disease and Cushing's disease. I decided to do a picture diagram of the differences between these two diseases, and I'm going to go ahead and explain. So Graves' disease, the origin of this disease is an autoimmune disorder. It is characterized by the overstimulation of the thyroid gland. The pathophysiology of this is the immune system produces thyroid-stimulating immunoglobulins that binds to and active THH receptors on the thyroid gland, leading to an excess production of thyroid hormones. That's our T3 and our T4, as you can see in the photo here that I have. The symptoms include some of the same symptoms that we see in hypothyroidism, including increased metabolic rate, weight loss, heat intolerance, nervousness, palpitations, and bulging of the eyes, as well as some skin changes, those dermopathy. So as you can see here, I have a picture of Wendy Williams. I'm a big fan of pop culture and celebrity gossip, and one of the big women in media and in that space is Wendy Williams. I remember always watching her even before I became a nurse, and that's where I was first made aware about this disease, was through her. It's well documented on her show. So as you can see here, you can see her lower legs, and you can see that pre-tibial myxedema. That is that swelling in the lower legs, as well as that skin change that you see on her feet. There was a really iconic moment where she fell on stage during her show, and you can see that was due to her heat intolerance, and that's why she fell. So she used to always talk about her different changes, and if you ever watched, you would definitely know the different signs and symptoms that are associated with the Graves' disease based on her show. So some treatment options for this disease include anti-thyroid hormones or anti-thyroid medications, So some of those medications include PTU, and that's polythyroid uracil, as well as methylmalazole, that work by blocking the production of thyroid hormones. This can control the symptoms in many people, but the treatment needs to continue indefinitely to prevent relapse. Some of these side effects include rash, nausea, joint pain. Another treatment option includes radioactive iodine, and that includes taking a small amount of iodine, which destroys the thyroid cells over time. This will eventually lead to hypothyroidism and the need for thyroid replacement therapy. Another option is surgery, partial or total thyroidectomy, but there are a lot of potential risks with surgical procedures, as well as after that, there will be lifelong thyroid hormone replacement will be needed. So again, some of the key features, like I mentioned, is that autoimmune nature of this disease. It causes that overproduction of the TSI, and which leads to excess thyroid hormone. The autoimmune nature of this disease causes dysfunction in our negative feedback loop that we have already going on, established in the thyroid hormone. So moving on to Cushing's disease. So Cushing's disease results from pituitary adenoma. That's a tumor in the pituitary gland, which causes excess amount of ACTH, and that's our adrenocorticotropic hormone. When there's an increase of that, it leads to overstimulation of the adrenal glands. And what is stimulated by the ACTH is cortisol, which is stimulated in the adrenal gland. That excess, so the pathophysiology, that excess of ACTH, adrenocorticotropic hormone, stimulates the adrenal glands to produce high levels of cortisol. So those symptoms, we kind of talked about it during our stress lecture. Increased cortisol leads to obesity, uncontrolled glucose. Some of the symptoms or signs that we see is obesity, like I said, moon face, that buffalo hump, high blood pressure. We see stretch marks on the skin. For women, we see some menstruation changes, as well as hirsutism. That's that thick and darkened hair on the face and the body. For men, we also see reduced infertility and erectile dysfunction. So some treatment options. Well, the first line treatment choice is always surgery. We got to get rid of that tumor that's going on in the pituitary gland that's causing that excess of the ACTH hormone. And the success rate of that is usually about 70% success rate. If surgery is not possible, the next option is radiation. Can be used to damage that pituitary adenoma. Another option is ketoconazole, which can be used to block cortisol production in the adrenal glands. However, they only control the symptoms and does not cure the underlying cause, which is that tumor. So like I said, for this disease, the key features is the overproduction of our adrenocorticotropic hormone, which is caused by a pituitary adenoma that leads to increased elevated cortisol levels, which causes chronic inflammation in the body. So in summary, a little bit about it, just to reiterate the differences again. Graves' disease has to do with our thyroid, while our Cushing's is dealing with our adrenal glands. These are both endocrine diseases, but both dealing with different organs in our body. Graves' disease is autoimmune, while Cushing's is neoplastic. It's a tumor. They're affecting different hormones. For Graves' disease, it's affecting the thyroid hormones. For Cushing's, it's affecting cortisol. So that's a little bit about the differences between Graves' disease and Cushing's disease. Hopefully this helps. And the references for this video will be linked under the video. Thank you.